Hey everybody, you're watching What's Up with Giancarlo. So we're gonna go over 6.1 today. This is algebraic expressions. So adding and subtracting expressions. You can use the properties of addition along with the distributive property to add and subtract algebraic expressions. So if I've got 4x plus 5 plus 2x minus 3. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to combine the like terms. Like terms are terms that either don't have a variable, like the 5 and the 3, those are constants, just a number without a variable, or a variable that is raised to the same power. So these x's are like terms due to the fact that they are both raised to the first power. Okay? So now, I'm going to show you my terms. I've got a 4x. It's positive because there's no negative sign. When there's a plus sign in between, that means that this 5 is positive. So I have a positive 5, I have a positive 2x, and I have a negative 3. I am calling this a negative 3, but it is also that I am subtracting 3. When I subtract 3, I'm basically adding a negative 3. It's the same thing, okay? So I'm gonna basically what I'm doing 4x plus 2x and then 5 minus 3. So I get 4x plus 2x. 4 and 2 is 6, and then just x. Okay? I'm adding the 4 and the 2, and the x just stays the same. Then 5 minus 3 is 2, positive 2. So what I end up getting is 6x plus 2. That is my final answer. I can't do anything after this because they are not like terms. Okay? This 2 does not have a variable, so I cannot add it with this 6x. And we do not know what x is, so we cannot finish the problem. This is it. This is our final algebraic expression. So, Jill and Kyle get paid per project. Jill is paid a project fee of $25 plus $10 per hour. So when you see a phrase like per hour, that means it's that number times x. So it would be 10x, but they say h. I like x, but problems will give you different variables. I just use x all the time. So they say 10h. So this project fee is a one-time fee of $25. So it's 25 plus 10h, the fee plus the rate per hour. Kyle is paid a project fee of $18 plus 14 per hour. So the one-time fee is $18 for Kyle fee plus 14h because we're going to multiply 14 times however many hours they work. Write an expression to represent how much a company will pay to hire both to work the same number of hours on a project. So I've got Jill right here. I've got Jill's expression and I've got Kyle's expression. So to figure out them both together, I have to combine the like terms. So first off, I write it out. So I get 25 plus 10h, which is Jill's, plus 18 plus 14h, which is Kyle's. So I'm gonna show you like terms. I'm underlining the ones with a variable, and then I'm circling the ones without the variable. Okay? So those are the ones I'm combining. Actually, I will even do the plus signs for you because I circled the plus sign. So what they do is they put them close together. So it's easier. But 25 plus 18 right here is 43. And then 10h plus 14h is 24h. So that's it. That is your final algebraic expression. The company will pay 43 plus 24h dollars to hire both Jill and Kyle. So this is just what it's going to cost the company. Okay? This is what Jill will make. This is what Kyle will make, but this is costing the company. That's how much the company will have to pay. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to pause right here and work this problem out. Please pause. All right. 3, 2, 1. This is how you work out the answer. So you can just drop the parentheses and then move them around if you want through the commutative property. Or you can do what I did and I just underlined the like terms and circled, like I underlined 2 like terms and then I circled the other 2 so I know which ones I'm combining. So I have 3x plus 7x, which is 10x, and then I have a positive 1/2 and a negative 4 1/2. So I'm basically, since this is a negative 4/2, I'm basically adding 1/2 to it, so it goes to 4. If you want to do it when you have a negative and a positive, you just subtract the bigger number from the smaller number. You get your answer. So 4 1/2 minus 1/2 is 4. And then the larger number has a negative sign, so you keep that. Okay? So my answer is 10x minus 4. Okay, pause it again. Work this problem out. 3, 2, 1. I hope you paused it. There's your answer. You drop the parentheses, and then you circle, well, underline the variables, and then circle the constants. Okay? So you're adding negative 3 and negative 1.4 together to get negative 4.4. Then you're going to add the negatives together, 1.5 and 0.25 to get negative 1.75. So when I say you're adding them together, if I have negative 0.25x minus 1.5x, remember, this has to change, and then that becomes negative 1.5x. Okay? It does not stay. You must change them. So this is your answer. And the same thing for the negative 3 and the negative 1.4. When you're doing negative 3 minus 1.4, you're going to make that a addition sign, and then you're going to make the 1.4 negative. It's easier that way. All right? So using the distributive property, you guys have probably learned this in the past. We're just going to go over it again. You can use the distributive property to remove the parentheses from an algebraic expression like 3 parentheses x plus 5. Sometimes this is called simplifying or expanding the expression. So they say that because they just mentioned that, they throw that out there just in case they do that in the homework. Okay? So they might say simplify the expression or expand the expression. Just remember they could mean the distributive property, okay? Multiply the quantity in front of parentheses by each term within parentheses. So I've got 3 parentheses x plus 5. Okay, they say do 3 times x plus 3 times 5. Basically, I'm going to multiply 3 times x, and then I'm also going to multiply 3 times 5. This is how I do it. If you would like to write it out this way, who am I to care? As long as you get the problem right, I don't really care. But this is how I prefer to write it. So I'm multiplying 3 times x to get 3x, and then I'm multiplying 3 times 5 to get 15. Okay? So let's look at it this way. I'm doing a times b and then a times c. So it's a b plus ac. And we all know, class, if there is no sign in between them, that is multiplication. I cannot have you guys getting mixed up on such a silly mistake, okay? You guys will see A, B, and be like, oh, they're adding together. That's what it is. No. Like 3x is 3 times x. Okay? So example 2, Mark is selling tickets for a high school band concert. The band gets to keep 25% of the money he collects from ticket sales to put toward new uniforms. Write an expression to represent how much the band gets to keep. Let A represent the number of adult tickets he sells. Let Y represent the number of youth tickets he sells. So we look at the ticket. Adults cost $16.60. Youth tickets cost $12.20. Okay? So they give you the expression. A is the amount of tickets for the adults that he sells, and Y for the youth. Obviously, A, adult, Y, youth. So then they give you the expression. $16.60 times A gives you the amount of money he made from selling adult tickets, plus $12.20 times Y is the amount that he makes for the youth tickets. So the band only gets to keep 25% of that, and then the rest goes to the school or the band program, but 25% of the money he's collecting goes to new uniforms. So we can't use 25%, we have to change it to a decimal. Because when we're multiplying, we don't use the percentage, we use the percent as a decimal. So we're gonna distribute it to find out how much of the total amount of money is going to the new uniforms. So it's gonna be 0.25 parentheses 16.6 dA plus 12.20y. And then I'm going to distribute to that. And then I'm going to distribute to that. Okay? So it's really 0.25 times 16.6 dA plus 0.25 times 12.20y. So, class, you are now allowed to use calculators where you guys can do 0.25 times 16.6d, which I don't want to work out right now. So in my calculator, I'm typing 0.25 times 16.6, and that gets me 4.15, and then A. The A comes along. And then I get 0.25 times 12.2, and that equals 3.05y. All right? So whenever they give you the amount of tickets that each one, you'd fill them in, and then you'd work it out. But that's the final expression with what they give us. Okay? So pause the screen, and then work this out. 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to multiply the 7 times the 9K and the 7 times the 6M. 7 times 9, 63K, plus 7 times 6 is 42. So it's A. Am I right? I'm right. Woo! Mr. Giancarlo's the smartest. Oh, kids, you guys are so nice to me. Next one. Pause it. 3, 2, 1. So multiplying 0.2 times 3b and then times 15. Okay? So it's not 6, that'd be 2 times 3. So I'm going to get 0.6, and then 0.2 times 15 is 3. But it's a negative. There's a minus sign, so we're going to keep that. So it's D. Let's see if I'm right. Oh, he shoots, he scores! Mr. Giancarlo, Mr. Giancarlo, woo! I'm not weird, you guys are weird. All right, last one, pause it, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it doesn't matter if there's three terms in here, you're still gonna do it. 2/3 times 6e, 2/3 times 9f, 2/3 times 21g. 2/3 of 6 would be 4. 2/3 of 9 would be 6. And then 2/3 of 21 would be 14. All right? C is my answer. Oh my God. 3 for 3. He shoots, he scores, game's over. But this lesson isn't over yet. So don't worry about that. So they're talking about factoring expressions. So factoring expressions, I'll show you one. It's 4x plus 4. So factoring is basically you're going backwards and distributing. Okay? So let's put a parentheses around this, and then whoop, and then whoop. What can I take out? What can I take out of these two? The greatest common factor is what? Is 4. So I'm going to take out 4 from both of them, and I'm going to put 4 on the outside. If I take away 4 from this, x, and then if I take away 4 from this, 1. Okay? So that's basically all factoring is in this situation. Okay? So 3x plus 6. What am I going to move to outside of the parentheses? The greatest common factor between 3 and 6 is 3. So that's what I'm going to pull out. So I'm going to put 3 on the outside of the parentheses. So when I divide this by 3, I get x plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. And that's my final answer for factoring. So pause, work this out. 2x plus 2, 3, 2, 1. The greatest common factor is 2. So I'm going to pull out the 2. And when I divide 2x by 2, I get x. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So B is my final answer. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Greatest common factor is what? The greatest common factor of 3 and 9 is 3. So that's what I'm pulling out. So I get A and C as my possible answers because 3x, we're not pulling out 3x. So my possible answers are A and C. When I divide 3x by 3, I get x, which is right there, both of them. And then I divide 9 by 3, I get 3. So A is my final answer. Pause. 3, 2, 1. 5x and 15. My greatest common factor between 5 and 15, 5. So A and B, possible answers. And none of these, obviously. So I divide 5x by 5, I get x, which is here. And then I divide 15 by 5, and I get 3. So my answer, I put 5 on the outside. I get 5x divided by 5 is x. 15 divided by 5 is 3. We don't see this anywhere here. So E is my answer. All right. Pause. 3, 2, 1. This is the final question. 4 and 16. My greatest common factor is 4. So I write it 4 on the outside. 4x divided by 4 is x plus 16 divided by 4 is 4. There's my answer. My answer is C. Okay? If anybody has any problems, put it in the comments. If you like the video, go ahead, like, subscribe if you're not already. And just like everybody knows, if you're watching, you're a part of the class. Bye, everyone.